Hello and welcome back. I hope you're all well. I've just at the storage, just done a little bit of a job. I've also obviously seen in the title a bit of a sunscreen that I've kind of come up with. When we went away in May this year, we went to Betsycoed and it was an extremely warm week. The heat was 30 degrees on some of the days. And what I noticed in the caravan is obviously it got very warm because of the panoramic sunroof. Not just because of that, but we could open the windows at the front and the sides, but the panoramic sunroof, because it doesn't open, it creates a lot of heat and creates a lot of warmth in the van. Now I did notice, and if you've got a Swift with a panoramic sunroof, at the front here, you're always very worried, and I've read all the stories about the sunroof cracking and people having lots of problems with that. Now, what the cause of that is, there's lots of different people saying lots of different things, why that cracks and why it fails. I've looked at all those different reasons. I'm no specialist, I've no idea. From what I see, it's obviously a fixed panel within a body that moves, and when it expands and contracts, that's the silicone that they use is kind of a hard silicone, and that's obviously invariably making the window maybe crack. I don't know, and something to do with the heat, something to do with the movement of the vehicle. So there's lots and lots of different theories and reasons as to why you get cracks in these windows, in these panoramic window. Also, they say about not closing the blind in the front, and we never close the blind in the front. I don't think we've ever shut it since we've had the van, so it always stays open. Yeah, but I noticed that heat coming through, so I looked at various ways of trying to take heat away from this front panel. I looked at having window tint put on there, having somebody come out and put that tint on there to take that away. I looked at some sort of like sunshade that we could put on the inside, but that doesn't do the job because obviously the heat's still getting into if we put it on the inside, it's still getting to the outside of the window. So a few weeks ago, I just sat there and I just said to Angela, I've come up with an idea. Wonder if this could work. So I went to Tent Valeting services and saw Graham and Joan there, telling them what the problem was, what the issue is, and the idea that I came up with to try and hopefully get some of the heat off the window at the front. So what I'll do is I'll show you what we came up with. I'll tell you a little bit more about it. I'll tell you what it's not going to do and what it will do. And then I'll give you some information about possibly where you can get one of these yourself. Now, it is, you know, I'm not on commission with Tent Valeting services or anything like that. I just went to Graham and I said, look, this is a problem I've got. This is the idea that I've got. Could you do it? And fair play to Graham and Joan. They sat there and they made it up there and then. This sunscreen that I've got here on here, and I came back and tried it. Sent the pictures back to Graham, and he said, "Oh, that you know, this is something that they could work with." So this is what I've come up with. This here, it's a bit of a sunscreen. It is awning material. You can see that it's stitched down here, down this edge here, and it goes on and it sits in the awning rails at the side of the caravan. So it sits in that side. It's got an awning rail here, stitched properly and stitched at the top. And then if we come round to this side, it's stitched in this way here. So it's got all the stitching here, awning rail on there connected to it, and it sits up there. So that's the thing that I came up with. It completely covers the window right to the top there, so it's completely covered. There's a bit of play in it. It does flap around a bit so the air can get underneath it. And what I've done at the sides, I've put awning rail stopper here. So there's an awning rail stopper there to stop it sliding down. Now here you can see the opening there to slide it into the awning rail, but on the other side, the awning rail opening is in a different position. It's higher up. So what I've had to do is put a length of awning rail protector in, then put the stopper there, then it don't slide down. But if there's one in one side, it won't slide down. So yeah, that's what I've come up with. So a few things about it. The material is the same material that you get in awning roofs. Now, I did talk to Graham about it scratching the window, and I know some people are going to say that, but cleaning the window off before I put it on, and the air can get underneath it, and it does move a little bit, but it's fully protected of the window. It's reflective, so it reflects the heat, the sun. I have been in here when it has been beating down with the sun since I've put it on, and you can feel you put your hand on the glass, or well, the panoramic window, and it is considerably cooler. In terms of the stitching, it's hemmed at both top and bottom, and there's double stitching on the awning pipe in there, and it slides in. Now, in order to put it on, I did come and do it on my own, and it's very much like a towing cover, apart from it's not got a zip at one side, but you've got to start at the bottom, and it's going to be so much easier with two people to do it, one on either side. I did it on my own, and I had to move it up a little bit, put the awning rail stopper on, move it up a bit more, and I kept doing that until I got it up to the top. But if you've got two of you there, it will just slide up, and then you can put it over the full window. It's not going to prevent, if it cracks, it cracks. It's not going to prevent that. I know it's not going to prevent that. If it does happen, it happens. I'm just going to have to deal with that at the time. But what it's going to do is stop that heat coming onto that window when we're on site. So it's not a cure for this crack in this window. I just feel it's just something there to deflect the heat away from the window at the front, and hopefully that could help and assist in terms of the heat of the van, but also maybe with the heat building up within that fixed unit there as well. I sent pictures back to Graham at Temp Valeting Services, and we talked about the possibilities of him making this if somebody out there wants one of these and they can buy them themselves. Now, at the moment, we've only got them. My Caravan is a Challenger 560, and I think it's 7'2", the width of the van. But what I did is I measured awning rail from awning rail, and I put a picture of that in now. And this is the size that it came out with. It was about 91 inches. So if you've got the same size as van as me, you know, it can be made up. Now, if you've got an 8-foot wide van, you want something like that. We haven't measured an 8-foot wide van yet. So I'm sure it's something that can be done in the future. It's just that we need to go and maybe Deb and Tony from the Caravan Nut go and measure their 8-foot wide van, and then we can get an idea on the width. Another thing to kind of mention with this is that when we go away, we have an awning up, but our awning only comes next to the door, so we can put that up. So if you're putting a full awning on your Caravan, this won't work. However, I've kind of come up with a solution that might work, but we haven't developed that yet in terms of how you can still use this if you've got a full awning in, but I've not spoke to Graham about that and whether we can get that design done. So if you're not using an awning, or you use a porch awning or a smaller awning where ours only comes up to the door, it doesn't even come past the first window, then it'll work. So in terms of costings of this, Graham says it's going to be about £60 to make this up. It also comes with a bag with it as well. So it's going to have the actual the sunscreen, but a bag to put it in as well. And it's going to be around about £60 for that to be made up. For the 8-foot one, I don't know, it might be a little bit more. I need to go and measure one, or Graham's going to go and measure it. You can't tow with it. I wouldn't recommend towing with this. When we go away, I've got it on in storage just because it's really hot well, obviously it has been really warm, and it just keeps the heat from inside the van. I wouldn't tow with it on. I'd take it off, and then when we get on holiday, I'm going to put it back on again. So I'm not going to tow with it. I do have a towing cover. It probably won't go anywhere, and it probably won't come off, but I don't want to risk it. So yeah, if you're interested in that, what I'll do is I'll put a link in the description to Temp Valeting Services. If you give Graham a call, or Joan a call, anybody there at Temp Valeting Services, tell him you've seen this video from the Caravan Nut and the sunscreen, the panoramic window sunscreen. You know, I came up with the invention, and I've not even thought of a name for it. What should I call it? Panoramic sunscreen. Yeah, I think we'll call it that. It might be helpful to some people. Some people might say it's a load of crap, but anyway, I just thought it does work. It does work. Right, thanks for watching. Hope that helps. You take care, and we will see you soon. Bye bye.